welcome everybody to another jam-packed, exciting episode of the Crime Alley Cast. This is episode number 28. That's a lot. That's a lot of episodes. And here with me, the faces may look a little different, but I have to my right is Mr. Zubaz.
Hello, good evening.
And then
Let's do
to
this.
his right, all the way over there, is Mr. Costley, who's decided to shift to his right for whatever reason. There we go.
I didn't mean to.
I think you did. And then in a very, very special guest, all the way to my left in the magenta box, is Burger himself. Burger, what's up?
What's up, guys?
I'm liking this. Like 4 people. Imagine if we had this all the time. This is insane. We're going no DaBoy today because he doesn't like the Crime Alley cast and he doesn't like being on it. So we're just gonna go ahead.
Especially during a lantern month.
Yeah, he has nothing to say about lanterns either,
Yeah.
apparently. So
Apparently
yeah.
not. But let's just jump right in since we got him here. Burger, just how's it going? How are you doing tonight? Like, what's up?
Everything's great. You get to be on here hanging out with you guys. It's badass.
Yeah, your new favorite podcast. That's what I'm hearing.
Of course. Actually this month. The Burger Shack had DaBoy, and we have Burger on the Crime Alley cast. So it's a fair trade.
Yeah.
I like it.
We got to keep everybody on their toes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We talked a little bit about before. We just touched on it just very briefly before we jumped on, but we asked you. We made your little nameplate down here. It says Burger, and then we said, "Oh, do you want the numbers?" And he said, "Oh, the numbers have meaning, but I don't need them on there." My 2 questions are, what's the meaning of Burger and what's the meaning of the 8200 we always see behind it?
So I'll kind of start with the 8200 parts. That's just something I've always had. 82 is the year I was born, 2000, graduated. So just growing up is always any username, email, whatever, I always try to throw those on there. Burger is probably a little bit better story. So when I was pledging fraternity, they have those times where it's bonding, where you get to go hang out with your pledge brothers late at night, and I don't want to say hazing, but things like that might happen. And so one of the guys thought it would be pretty funny if with my last name having Burger in it, if every time that I showed up, no matter if it was midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., whatever, that I had to show up and bring him a bacon burger. So fortunately, back then it was Wendy's was open late, so I'm giving Wendy's a shout out. I'm not even sponsored by them or anything, but I'd go by and be able to provide those, and so it kind of at first it was bacon, and that kind of shortened to everybody just calling me Bacon, which is a pretty cool name in its own. But then kind of solidified and turned into Burger, which is actually part of my last name. So that's how I got that.
I love it. See, I love hearing all the stories to the names. It's always just so interesting because I always think this when I look at the brackets for the TOL, like everyone's name's different. I'm always wondering what all the different his origins are behind it because I think it's like just super cool.
I love all the cool origins everybody has, and then everyone's like, go find somebody, and it's like, I don't know, Xbox gave it to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that's...
But let's keep rapid fire questions at Burger here. So I have a little what are we calling this itinerary down here? I'm gonna try to follow that as best as I can. But let's see. We play DCL, all right? What got you into DCL? Tell us your DCL origin story.
I wish it was something that was crazy exciting. I was on Apple App Store scrolling through, saw Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman sitting there, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I read the comics, let's get in there. And jumped in. This was before alliances, before everything, and so before raid, it was just going through story mode and trying to ramp the tunes up.
So you weren't pre-registered or anything like that?
I was not.
So when did you start?
Remember when? Yeah.
Oof. I want to say has to at least be probably 4 years, if I had to guess, 4.5 years.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Because I just stumbled upon the game like like a week after it launched. I just got lucky that I stumbled. Zubaz, you were no, you weren't.
I was a little bit later. I
Yeah.
joined.
Oh my goodness. God, Zubaz just dropped, and there goes all the cameras. Let's see if he comes back. He should be going back. But I do like that it's my little dino there.
There we go.
There we go. Okay.
You know what it was? I tried to open up M4's history to see the exact month that I joined, and that was what screwed everything up. So I won't do that again.
Okay.
I joined when Aquaman King of Atlantis got added to the game. I randomly stumbled upon it in like an Aquaman forum. They were like, "Hey guys, there's this game out there, and Aquaman is in it now." And I was like, "Cool, I'll play anything that has Aquaman in it." So I think that was the.
I'm looking at it right now.
February or March of the year after, like 6 months or 5 months after it launched.
Yeah,
something like that.
That wasn't too long. Costi, were you pre-registered? I think you were, because you.
No, me and Zubaz have the same story, except for I didn't find it like on a deal. I literally just found the game like on the I kind of have a mix between like Burger's story and Zubaz's story. I was just browsing through like apps like Burger was, but I joined at the same time Zubaz did.
So I've been playing the longest. Like I was like, I literally, when I joined, I only missed the first opening calendar by like 2 days. I remember the Harley Quinn was like Harley Quinn Quite Vexing was one of the last rewards, and I missed it. And I was like really upset about it. So man,
March 2017.
That's so interesting, you know. So
why are you so mediocre then? If you've been playing longer.
Excuse me, I have the accolades to back it up.
Anyway,
so I think we all are the same, because for me, I literally just typed in DC Comics into the App Store for Android. So because I was into comics, is that the same for you, Burger? You were like you're a big comic reader before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Since I have like every Superman comic from the 90s. So just ever since then.
Okay.
Today, April 18th, is when we're recording this. That is the release date of Action Comics 1, the first appearance of Superman, actually.
Oh, wow.
What year was it?
48. 84 years ago. It was 38.
38.
1938.
So, because I started reading comics like the New 52. Like the New 52 had just happened, and that's when I started. And I think, Costi, you said you were like New 52 as well?
Oh, I started just before New 52. Mm-hmm. Basically, when I went to go into comics, people were like, "Oh yeah, no, like just jump in." And I looked, and it's like Batman number 800 and something, and I'm like, that looks impenetrable. Yeah. And so people, I heard about the New 52, but it hadn't come out yet. Mm-hmm. So I remember searching on like iBooks, because that's where I used to get my comics, was iBooks. And so like I remember searching on iBooks, and I was like, New 52, and the first thing that popped up was 52 number 1. Which is the exact opposite of a good jumping on point.
Yeah.
And so I bought that, and I jumped into it, and it was like, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman are gone. What? Okay. And so I backed out of that, went into Injustice, found the Injustice comics because I was playing the Injustice game. This actually loops back around to what we were talking about before. I now remember how I found DCL. Because I was reading the comics, I wanted to play a mobile game that like was DC. Mm-hmm. So I went and looked at Injustice. Well, I didn't like the way Injustice 1 mobile played, so I went looking for just another DC mobile game on the app, and that's how I found DCL.
Well, there you go.
So
Burger, you
said in 1938.
That's when you started, right? Right. I remember
Action Comics 1 was the first comic I read.
Very well.
Yeah.
So, how much did that comic cost back then? Was it a nickel?
5 cents, I think.
It was, saved up, you know.
Aren't you really glad you kept a copy?
I did. I have a 9/8 pristine copy of Action Comics 1.
So, Burger, you said you specifically mentioned Superman, that you have all the Supermans from the 90s. So, is Superman your favorite character? Is that your guy?
Do I feel like should my answer be Talon since I'm in the Owls?
No, we don't. The Talon. We don't. The Owls here. No.
Yeah. So I guess favorite comic to read. I've actually been on like, and it's not DC, but Avengers and Fantastic Four. I've been doing a lot of that. But I do read, all the Superman, most of Green Lantern. And so I guess if it's favorite one to read right now, I guess Justice League probably is everything, but I guess single person Superman.
All right.
Of everybody, but favorite in game. Oh damn, I don't know. I probably do use Superman the most just because I'm trying to be different than everybody running Spectres all the time. But yeah, probably Superman in game also.
Yeah. So wait, you have RB4 or RB5 Superman?
RB4.
And you had that before the change?
I did.
And how did you feel about the change when it happened?
Before he was cool again. Actually, I really like the change. I think like before. I mean, like he wasn't terrible to use, but he wasn't as fun as he is now. And now, like, he can absolutely punish teams, and he just goes bonkers occasionally, and it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, that was such a hot topic in the beginning for a little bit with people who had like a big rebirth, Superman, and then next thing you know, it's a completely different character. But I think M4 did put it best. That was like having a Hummer in the car in the garage, and then you walk out and now you have a Ferrari out there, and Ferrari's a better car, but hey, people liked the Hummer, so I mean, I didn't have anything special before that, so I always like to hear when someone tells me that they were okay with the change. So I mean, I don't know. Like, what else should we talk about here with the big bird dog? I think a lot of people know you from probably the Whale of Whales out there. Do you?
My credit card company loves me. So shout out to Visa and Amex if you guys are watching.
So do you like kind of having that like little bit of a like title to your name that you're like? I think most people, really happy you do that, because everyone gets to see these new characters in action. Like, is that something you kind of like carrying around that title?
Not especially. I think after you tap it so many times, you start kind of being like, oh shit, what I do. And so I don't know if there's anything really like great that goes with it. I mean, to be honest, at first I did it probably just because I was trolling a presumed hacker, and he kept doing it all the time. So I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna do it just to mess with him, and it kind of just evolved from that. So and now it's just a habit.
It's like when you start saying a word or expression like ironically, but then it becomes part of your vocabulary. So you just happen to spend ironically every month you're dropping. Yeah,
I'm sure. Except for the drought we just had, I'm sure you have plenty of Olay though, right? Like you have.
I'm looking at his skin now. And I think that goes without saying. Like he's.
I'm not gonna lie. I just carried 7 boxes into my house this morning.
Yeah, I'm every time it comes in, I'm like trying to hide it in different places. So my wife, I try to sell it like, hey, it's to her like, hey, this is really nice. Like most guys don't care about their women buying this. But it just, I mean, the first like box or two has probably worked, but after 100 boxes show up, it's kind of hard.
Yeah, I was giving my boxes away to pretty much everybody in my family until eventually all of them finally said, I have a year's supply worth of Olay. Stop giving me boxes. And then I was like, okay. So now they just sit in the closet.
Yeah, and like the stuff is always like anti-aging, and so you give it to anybody like trying to tell them you're right.
Yeah.
I had like my wife Amanda. I was like, okay, I can justify in buying this if I do it. But she looked it up and found out that even though they don't test on animals in the US, they sell in China, which still means that China does the animal testing. So they were off, they were no good. And so I was trying to like do Olay for myself, like find products and whatever. And I guess Olay made a change not that long ago. So now they're purely cruelty free. And now, and she told me that, and I was like, oh, then Olay's back on. Let's just do it. And then Tapjoy said, "Suck it, Android. You don't get Olay anymore." And now I'm just like, this sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Burger, you are. I don't know what alliance you're in really. Does anyone didn't write that down? What alliance Burger's in?
I'd like to point out that I made the outline. I didn't ask the guest what alliance they're in for some reason. I completely forgot that.
This is a good question because I don't know. But how long have you been in a said alliance? And like how did you get into it?
Let's see. It's been about probably 2 years, 4 months,
Oh,
3 days.
you're ready for a change then, I think, is what I'm hearing.
31 minutes now, actually. Sorry. Yeah, so I got into it. And so, funny story, I was telling everybody in the Owls one day. I used to raid, and I was in an alliance before. Somebody added me one day and was like, "Hey, do you want to join?" It was Speedsters. And so I joined that. And then one of my buddies that I've grown up with, I got him playing the game. And so I was like, "Hey, you need to join Speedsters." And so we would raid, and, we would throw up, 800 to 1,000 boss hits. And, the alliance wouldn't do terribly, but I never looked at what other alliances were ranked. It was just like they would just message and say, "Hey, everybody, try to hit the boss now." And so we would get on there and start hitting. I didn't know anything about any other alliances. And so my buddy that I got playing the game, he would listen to all the podcasts, started interacting with Hate and Loot and everybody. And so he's a little downy now in the game, but he was G Clunet, and you guys that were out. And so he was like, "Hey man, I'm gonna leave the Speedsters. I'm going to the Owls. They're the best alliance." I was like, "I have no idea who the hell these guys are." And he was like, "Well, let me see if I can get you on." And so I ended up joining. And so the first raid, I'm like, "Hey, you know what? They're talking about oh, people were doing 1,000 boss hits," and I was like, "Oh, I can do that. I was doing that before." And I actually started paying attention. And little did I know, it was grueling, and it still is pretty grueling, but it's a blast. I mean, I love those guys. I mean, and some of you guys are all in the chats too. And so, I mean, I have friends that I've had my entire life, and I don't talk to them as much as I talk to the guys in there. And we've been through anytime life kind of kicks us in the teeth, they're always there picking you up, telling you, "Hey, things will be better." And so it really, and I mean, I'm sure a lot of alliances are like that. So I'm not saying it's only Owls, but it really is cool how something that, we kind of grew up reading, watching, dreaming that we were going to be superheroes and stuff, and kind of carrying it into adulthood, and, finding other, people like-minded, and, having each other's backs and everything. It legitimately is I want to be hey, when I travel, I want to try to go see these guys, if I'm in this town.
Yeah.
And so so anyway, so that's kind of, I had no idea who they were, and my buddy was just like, "Hey, you gotta join. They're gonna add you later today or whatever," and that was it. And so ever since then, haven't looked back.
Yeah. I was little known story. I was in the Owls once upon a time. But I was in the Owls before Burger was, and I remember when he joined. And the big thing that I remember, because there's always a lot of turnover, not just even unique to the Owls. Every alliance, it seems like every raid, one or two people are like, "All right, that was the last time that I want to do this." And so there's always maybe those 2 or 3 bottom spots where there's a lot of turnover. And I had never heard of Burger. I didn't know. We never know how they're going to perform in raids or anything like that. And I remember the first raid, and we always had loot, right? Loot would be good for 2,000 to 3,000 boss hits, no problem, every single raid. And that was before the Owls kind of made a lot of different structural changes in how exactly they organized raids. At the time, it was just free for all. It was literally do as many bosses as you possibly can over the course of the weekend, and that's it. So I remember that first raid, and we were all watching Burger keep up with loot. and we were like,
I
what's
remember this
happening
raid.
here?
I
Like,
remember
this
this
is
raid
getting
as well.
crazy. Like, you know, all of a sudden it's like ticking, you know, you hit the triple digits, you hit the 4 digits. They're like, oh, okay, like, you know, this guy's going to back off. Like, what's going to happen? And he just kept going. And like, by the end of it, you know, over the course of the next 2-3 raids, they were each doing like 3,000 bosses per raid. And it was just insane to watch. And I knew I knew back then, I was like, the Owls they found their guy. Like Burger is like the most perfect fit for exactly what it is that they're looking for. And I thought it was great. I also, I mean, what Burger was mentioning about them being like a really good brotherhood, that is definitely true. When I was going through some of the like toughest stuff that I have had in my life, everybody reached out, and actually, especially Burger was one of the people that actually sent me a DM and said, "Hey, I've actually gone through something really similar before. The same thing. If you want to talk about it or whatever, let me know." And so I do. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, I just remember. I remember Burger joining the Owls, and I was like, "This guy's gonna be the Owl by the end of it when it's all said and done."
I remember that specific raid because I remember, weren't we like calling you guys the Bash Brothers after that raid or something?
Yeah,
Yeah, and
from
then,
the Mighty Ducks or the Oakland A's. Yeah.
But I remember because I was in the Owls at the time too. And I remember that was right around the time that you joined was right around the time that like all the like what we used to call Walmart alliances were kind of breaking down. And I remember we had a lot of people coming in that were like from those alliances. And it's like, and it was all names that I was used to seeing. And then I remember seeing you and your friend join, and I was like, I have never seen these people before. Yeah. I'm like, who are these people? And then I was like, okay. And so it's like, but I mean, like, I was always the guy that did almost like, I was never the lowest boss hits in the Owls, but I was always like close to being the bottom.
Sounds like the
so
lowest.
Like, so watching Burger come in and then he was just like, he was keeping up with the loot. It was like, holy crap. Okay, this guy went from like, I've never heard of him before to like legendary in one raid. Like, and
you still perform at the bottom of your alliance and raids.
No, I don't.
That hasn't changed.
I'll say that we had our 1500 day not that long ago. March.
Yeah, March 4th.
March 4th. We had 1500 day. And what you guys are saying is kind of reminds me of what, and I want to say it was Poolman said this, where it started off, you know, like same thing with me and Amanda. I would say, oh, I was talking to this guy online, you know, or this guy I know from the game. And then after a while, it just becomes, oh, I was talking to my friend. You know, you change from just being, you know, people you play a game with, that some stranger, to like, oh, that's my friend over there, you know. And that's just such a great thing to see that what this game does and what these alliances do. I think when they added the alliance feature, because that wasn't day one, there did not used to be alliances. I think when they added alliances, it was really kind of like one of the best moves in the game, I would say. But so it's always good to hear those stories of how, yeah, you just, you know, the alliance comes together. So I don't know. So Burger, you said
here's a question too. So little cheap plug, I guess, for the Burger Shack. Mm-hmm. It is, Hate has said kind of every month that it is the most watched episode that WROL does every month, even more than like the tier list episode, because I think people are so excited to see the new toons. They know that the people who are on the Burger Shack know about what's going on for a variety of reasons. So I guess, like, you know, when you started playing, like, did you in any world think that like on a monthly basis you would be on this like podcast that like hundreds of people like listen to every single month, and they watch, and they just anticipate, like, when's the Burger Shack coming out? Like, that's the question that Hate gets every month.
No, I mean, I never thought that I would. I also never, like, I remember like the first times I saw packs in the game, and it was just, I think it was like a Superman pack that was like available, and I was like, oh, I gotta buy it. And so it was like $25, and I was like, I can't believe I'm spending $25 on this. Now I look back saying, oh, if only I knew. So, you know, I love it. Like, you know, again, like like Hate and everybody, Loot, M4, Hot Guy, like sitting there with those guys, and being on WRL, and Zubaz is on there all the time. Like, I mean, it's fun. Like, a it's easy to kind of look at the game and say, hey, all you're doing is sitting there tapping, whether or not it's tapping the buy button or tapping the, just the controls. And, but it is fun. Like, it adds like a whole new layer of sitting there and being like, hey, we're going to interact with people, learn from them, talk, have fun, see each other, hear each other a little bit more rather than just through like messaging apps and stuff. So I don't know about a lot of people watching it. I mean, I'm hopefully, they share some of the same excitement that we have in the toons, and can learn a few different things. But we're always learning things as well from each other, and just kind of as we stumble through the game together.
Yeah, for sure. I would say like something that's pretty interesting, just about like through this discussion we've been having, it's been making me really like realize that it's like this game is so eclipsed by its community. Like, the community of this game is so much bigger than what this game has ever, like, the game, like, I love the game, don't get me wrong, but it's like this game does not deserve the community it has. Like, it's crazy. Like, I mean, even like little side tangent, it's like my buddy who has played Raid Shadow Legends with me forever finally started playing DCL like 5 days ago, and like, because he is the person he is on like Raid, and he decided to do the same thing on DCL, he's like 5 days in and he's almost gear 10 already. But it's like we brought him into the 1500 today, and it's like he hasn't been able to like respond yet because he's been at work, but like everybody was already like, even the 1500s all have been so welcoming to him already today, and it's just like it's a really cool feeling to see like strangers be treated the way that like the way that they are. And at the same time, for me, it was really cool because it's like it was getting to show like my other friends, you know what I mean, at the same time today. Like, and it's like, hey, like no, like, because he's interacted with a lot of the people that are in like the DCL sphere, but like not too many. And he even got to go a lot further in this weekend when he was watching the TOL streams and everything, and he was in like all of them because he's like so invested now, and he's like, oh, like what characters are good, and like he loves watching everybody, and he loves like streamer culture and everything too, so he's loving the TOL. And so like it's been fun to like watch that happen, and just watch, like, it just makes me realize like, man, this community is just awesome. Like, and it's even made me re-engage a little bit more in DCL this weekend.
And who was the first person to welcome him into the 1500? It was M4.
Yeah. Our honorary 1500 member.
But always has to go out there and try to find like who the next owl could be. So.
Oh, he's 100%. Like I said to him, I was like, you are trying to poach this guy. He joined 5 days ago, and M4 was like, I see talent when I see talent.
So I constantly brought up the Tournament Legends. Burger, have you been watching any of the Tournament Legends, and what do you think about their tournament? You don't have to say anything nice just because I'm here. But
I mean, it's cool, and like you can tell, like you have to get really strategic. So I've been talking to M4, Hawkeye, and Hate all the time about it. And so we're always going through like, hey, here's the toons they have, like who should we eliminate, like who should we try to bring, and so it is kind of cool. So I knew of it happening before, but I never sat. I watched some of the streams and watched some things happen, but I never like really dove into the rules. But like watching it, like it actually, it's cool. You guys did a badass job putting together the rules and setting it all up. And I mean, again, like it's bringing like a new layer to this. It's not just, hey, swipe your credit card, please. And here you go. Yeah. So, I mean, it's really cool. And like it's fun. And I was talking to them, and we were all like, hey, we should all try to jump in. And so I'd love to try to get on one. It's just, a lot of times it's difficult sitting there trying to play 20 straight matches. And so usually like I just kind of auto matches, like when I'm sitting in traffic, just to get my 27 for Siege. But it does look really cool. And it, hats off to a lot of the people whenever you're watching some of these like random matches go against all these huge dick teams that are out there. How are you going to possibly pull this off? But strategizing it and figuring it out. So it looks you guys did a really good job on it.
Thanks, Burger. I just know that after Zubaz did his 20, he
Yeah.
was just like, I'm done for today, for the
Yep.
week. I'm done
I
with
hate it. I am. But I mean, actually, that it's funny that you mentioned having like these big, massive teams on your TOL board. My qualifying run this time was mediocre, but the highlight of it was actually beating your team, Burger.
Oh, yeah.
You had
monster
a
team.
really, really big team. It was Superman. It was UV John Stewart, who we'll talk about in a second, I think, but who nobody had seen before, really. He was L4 at the time. You had your RB5 Talon, and then I can't remember I think it was Terra
Probably
or
Terra.
yeah, I think
it was Terra.
I think it was Terra, and I just for my TOL run, I only brought blue toons, and like I lost some matches in that run that I shouldn't have, but yours I was able to beat in the first one, and everybody was like, "Wow, like okay, you really can beat these big teams without your entire roster and stuff," and so people were really excited. I got really excited. It's also like you're one of the only players left where I can get like a 9.3-star win like at this point, just based on the roster size. So that was a lot of fun. But I mean, do we want to just segue into talking about John?
I was about to say,
we
got the new tunes coming up. I mean, they're here now, and they're both available for sale. Like I believe John is on sale right now, and Aubin. He was already had a sale, but he's not in the shop unless you do the money pack, I think, right?
15 pack.
No, but
yeah.
and he'll be in the raid packs when they pop up.
Oh, that's right.
So,
yeah. So I mean, Burger, quickly, what do you think of John right now, or compare the two, Aubin or John? Who are you liking better?
Oof, I honestly I was really surprised because I think when everybody first saw them, like there's a lot of questions, like are they going to be good? I absolutely looked at this month saying I'm not going to buy anybody. I'm not gonna this is gonna be a slow gear month, which WB, if you guys are hearing, please do something about damn
Bumping away.
yeah.
Away. I'm down to probably 7 left, gear left. But so I was like, hey, I'm gonna slow gear. And then I start watching, and then Aubin got fixed. And then I start watching, and I was like, oh shit, these guys are pretty damn good. And again, I just start itching, and I'm like, it's the third, and I haven't bought these things yet. What the hell's going on? So I go in there, and that's why I wasn't on the Burger Shack, because I was like, I'm not doing it. Sorry guys, I need the slow gears. And then all of a sudden I was like, screw it, I'm doing it. They look really good. But I think out of the two, I think Aubin plays with how my team normally is structured, because I generally 9 times out of 10 I have Superman, and so I think he kind of plays well with that. But if I had to say just one of the two tunes I'm going to use regularly, John Stewart. I really, and maybe I'm lucky, but it seems like he's stunning on his 3 way more than 75% of the time. And so I really like him. It's I like everything that he does is pretty good. Hitting underneath shields is great for this siege, with his 1. I mean, I really like that tune, and I run an RB for him. I don't know who's coming up. I know that I've heard, obviously reading discords and stuff, hey, it's going to be a Superman month. So I'm sitting there I got to hold on to my precious crystals and wait for those. But if that wasn't the case, I had full intention of RB4ing John Stewart this month.
Yeah, from what I've been seeing, I fought Aubin a lot in Siege, and before I discovered tier lists and all these podcasts and everything, that's how I would kind of judge the characters I was fighting against. And I feel like Aubin's fine, he's a solid tune, he's not gonna blow you away, not gonna do anything else. But fighting against John always is a little bit trickier. I'm lucky to have some hard hitting reds to go against the blues, but I just noticed that to me John is the better of of the tunes. And yeah, that stun is coming down so often. Like it's bonkers how it's coming down. Like, but I mean,
Yeah, it seems to be 100% every time I face John. Is it's not 75, it's 100 for the AI, but it is the most frustrating thing when it's you don't. I hate using Terra. I don't always want to use Terra. I think she's really good at what she does, but she to me is a little bit boring. But if you don't bring her, like you just lose an entire round for all of your teams or all your tunes. And like we used to have that with Cersei to a much smaller degree. It was 30% only every once in a while on a move with high cooldown and stuff. John's AoE is on a low cooldown for what it is. It's got a 75% chance to stun everybody. It's just a crazy move, and it does damage. Like it's not like it just does the stun and moves on. It hurts too. So I think he could be really scary, and I think at those high rebirth levels, he's just going to decimate stuff.
I would say when we first saw this month, I was like, I don't care. I was like, this, I'm not going to care about any of these characters. And instead, like, I'm loving Auburn because he works well with Nightwing. And so, like, he's fun on that aspect. And then he's fun with just, like, I put him under Darkseid the other day, and he has a good basic, so it's fun to put him under Darkseid. Like, and so like he AoEs and then stuns everybody, and it's like, okay, well this is all right. And so that's been fun. But then UV John Stewart, so I just took him to L2 earlier, like 30 minutes before we started recording, and started playing with him. And I was really impressed with him. That AoE is amazing. I feel like it stuns, like you guys are saying, 100% of the time. But what I was having fun with, and I know with Terra out there, you can't really do this, but I was having fun playing with the enrage side of things. And like, it's really fun. Like I threw like him, Lex, and Mr. Freeze all on a team together. Lex obviously the lead. And so like Lex is just like healing them up like crazy. And then between Mr. Freeze and John, they're slowed down so much and they're enraged. So when they finally get their turn, then they get retaliated on because Mr. Freeze is sitting right there. And it's like on the off chance that like John, that's my one problem with John is like the taunt. Like I don't like the chance taunt. Like if you're gonna make him a taunter, just make him a taunter. Like but what's nice about running him with Mr. Freeze is if he doesn't get the taunt, then you go taunt with Mr. Freeze, and then once his wears off, then like hopefully John is taunting and everything. The one thing I will say about the way that the taunt does come on though, I do like that it's at the beginning of the turn. So then you're able to make decisions from there. Because it's like you really don't want to do like his 2 unless he's taunting, because otherwise you're just giving yourself shield and enraging everybody, and then the attacks go everywhere and you can't control it.
Real quick,
whereas like
I was just gonna say, who's the one that does the random taunt? Was it Auburn or John? That was like a taunt will go
Auburn.
to Auburn.
Oh yeah, that's the like
Okay.
he has that one like do not take that legendary ability.
Yeah.
Please, if you have taken it, I'm sorry. If you haven't taken it yet, even if you go L5, do not take that ability. I think it says 4th legendary. Let me check.
Well,
Yeah,
I think I think I think for the most part everyone agrees that I think that John is the better of the two. Burger, do you agree that John is the better? Yeah. That's what I'm thinking too.
Fair.
And you quickly brought it up not that long ago, and we do have some inside people here. What are we expecting next month? I heard there's hints flying around, and
there are hints flying around.
Okay.
I have to be very careful about what I say and what I don't say. There are a lot of hints flying around. I will say that for next month, I believe and this is just on paper, and we have found that on paper has not always translated to how they play in the game. For instance, this month, I think not many people in the NDA group were expecting the tunes to be quite this good. I thought that they would be good, but just not as good as what we have. But anyway, next month, I believe 1 is going to be excellent. A potential raid staple. So take that for what you think that means. I have in the past defined raid staples as tunes that get permanent buffs. So I think that toon could be very good. There's another new toon that I think it's going to depend a lot on if they accept any of our feedback on.
Okay.
We are getting a leader, which we haven't gotten a long time, a toon with a leader ability. So that will be new. And then let's see. As far as the reworks go, I am very, very excited about one of them. I think both of the reworks were toons that needed reworks, and I think can be very successful. Again, depending on the feedback we got, but even the changes that they've already made, I think will make them better than where they are now. So I think it should be a super month.
Ooh, I was about to say.
I think it'll be a real super month for everybody. So yeah, that's just an adjective.
Yeah.
I would,
And real quick, the names of the toons were.
Oh, right. I forgot to mention that. Yeah. No, I do. I think it'll be a good month.
Yeah.
I like how Josh is just like, hey, Zumbaz, just break your NDA real quick. All right. Just like, yeah.
We're all friends.
Yeah, we're all friends here.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, like, if you just keep asking rapid fire questions and then you just throw that last one in, that maybe he'll say something. But yeah, no, I think it will be a very, very good, super fun month for everybody. So
you got those rebirth crystals saved up, Burger?
I do.
All right.
That's why I didn't take John Stewart up. But I will say this, and I think it shows exactly why we should have like the NDA and VIP group. I mean, you guys, absolutely went to bat, fixed Auburn last month, made him from where, he was, like really rough.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of wish he still would have been a little rough because here.
Yeah.
Regardless, and you guys did exactly what the team's there to do, fix things and hopefully make them better. So hopefully WB keeps listening.
And as far as WB listening, so Tapjoy being back was great. Hopefully you keep to do that. And the other thing, I don't know if this was an accident or not, but hey, refreshing Nightmare Challenge, good idea.
Oh man,
we don't talk about that.
That was fun.
You know what's even funnier about that is I didn't finish Nightmare Challenge on the first day.
Yeah,
that bit a couple people.
Yeah, and you want to know how many crystals I am short of? Like, because I got most of the way through, I just didn't do the last node, and I'm 3 crystals short.
Why would you stop at that point?
No, I was like 2. I got the what is it? The 2 rebirth crystals. And then it's like the next one's 3, but it's like 2 nodes ahead or whatever.
Yeah.
I was super busy
rebirth, 7500 LE, and then 3.
Yeah, I was super busy with work is what happened.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get a chance to sit there and do it. And then the next day rolled around before I even realized what happened. And then people were like, oh, it reset. And then I just so happened to be 3 rebirth crystals short of being able to rebirth somebody. So
yeah.
Burger,
I dropped 50 today. So yeah.
Oh, Banshee.
Speaking of Superman, so Silver Banshee, because I do hate Superman, and so does she.
Let's just say, if this is a clue, he just took Silver Banshee Rebirth 5. That means that.
Can you imagine? And all these people start like gearing her up as they're like, "Oh, she's definitely one of the reworks." He just went crazy on her. No.
If you wanted to know the continuity of why he Rebirth 5 Banshee, what was it? 3 episodes ago? 4 episodes ago?
It was 3 episodes when I fell in love with her like immediately.
Oh,
yeah.
Burger, were you having some fears about Tapjoy maybe being gone, or were you like, I was worried?
Well, I'm kind of kicking myself because I'm like probably one of the only people in the game that's still buying the normal packs. And so I had bought 6 John Stewart packs before that, trying to gear up for raids and stuff, and then that happened. So now I'm just even more blessed.
Real quick, Burger. Since we're on the topic of the rebirth situation, I don't know if everybody knows this. Some people may know it just from seeing your teams and everything, but you have taken a very radical stance as an owl, because the owls, especially, I know from having been there is a lot of peer pressure for that RB5. Tootie, former owl, has an entire showcase dedicated to it. M4 and Vincent seem like they're in constant competition about who has the most RB5s, and they will call you a peasant for not having an RB5, even if you have like RB3. So you have taken the stance, though, that you're, with the exception of Talon, as the Court of Owls sort of emblem there, you stop at RB4 for all of these tunes. So I guess here's a chance. Why do that? Why buck the trend at the Owls? What's your thinking behind the stopping at RB4?
So I like the way you put it. I mean, I don't know if I'd go as far to say hero or but it's a couple reasons. One, so my siege strategy is to RB4 whatever the best siege tune is that month. And it just turns out that, generally you get 10 crystals through raid, right? And you get, not through raid, but just from buying the 6,000 gem packs, raid ones. And then you get the 10 crystals that start a siege. You get 13 if you're an owl during raid for rewards. Then you get the 5 other ones, or 5 midway through the month, kind of just login bonus, and then the 9 or 6 nightmare challenge. And so that generally throws me up to like right over 40, right? And so that way I can continue to do that. And then the months that I have like an extra 10 or so, like I'll throw those into like another tune that I just like, but generally I try to just use 40 just because it's right there, and so I can do that 40 every time. But then also, I mean, if you think about it, would you rather have, what is it, 5 RB4s or 4 RB5s? And so, I kind of look at it like I'd rather build like an army of RB4s. That's still, I mean, like, yeah, like they're not, it's 10% off, but that 10%, I mean, it's a big investment. This coming from the person that just spends so much on the damn game, but it is a big investment going through, and every time I buy one of those gem packs, I'm like, man, 8,000 gems, or the shard packs or whatever, 8,000 gems for 100, shards. I just keep thinking about all the raid energy I could be buying with that, and so yeah, so that,
Okay.
I just kind of weigh it like that, but yeah, that's kind of my approach, and they do give me shit occasionally, but
Yeah.
I'm up to, I think I have 23 RB4s so far. So just keep growing that, take whatever the best tune is every month and RB4 them and just move on.
It makes sense, and your strategy does work. We see you kind of at or near the top of Siege every single month, which is awesome to see. And you did win the one. It was September for Jace was an exciting time when you actually won Siege. So M4 can shove it, and Hatemael can shove it, and that's all there is to it. So,
Burger, I felt the pressure today on stream because Yara Floor, I'm a big Yara Floor fan, and when she was on sale, and they were trying to pressure me to, take her RB5, and I've said this many times on stream.
People are trying to pressure you.
It's and I said this many times on stream. I'm like, look, no, I follow the teachings of Burger. Like what? He stops at RB4, I stop at RB4. Like it makes so much sense to me. You're right. It's 10% more power, but it's not 10% more in cost. It's significantly more in cost to take it up that extra 10%.
I love that Josh is talking like he's adopted this for forever.
I've been.
He's been saying this on stream, and he has actually specifically referenced Burger for like a while now.
Yeah.
I remember to go back as far, he always talks about how he goes to like the M4 school and that he learned in the Chosen school. And then he specifically has said, though, he's like, I am subscribing to Burger teachings here on the Rebirth plan. That's it. And he's He's mentioned it a bunch of times. Can't fault him for making this up on the spot tonight.
Yeah.
So what's with Lex and Harley then?
I said that if they're farmable, then I'll take them RB5. So Star Sapphire will probably be my next RB5. But I did pull the trigger in the 11th hour. I went and got enough shards to take Yara to RB4. So that was an investment.
She's so good.
Yeah, she hits so freaking hard. It's nuts.
I bought enough for RB5, but you know.
Yeah, I also have her at RB5, but
I use her to melt. Like if you're looking at like, especially now the Supergirl rework on the bot teams, like I almost never go full bonus, just because there's too many risks in it. But if it's like you're seeing Supergirl and Arcus on the same one, and you're like, shit, if I misplay this, they're gonna each retaliate against me. Just throw Yara in there, and it's just game over.
Yeah. If you ever want to watch someone put their neck on the line and fight these bots at full bonus, I got a stream for you, because I try to always that first week of Siege, I'll try to see if I can score those 20s, if I can find the team, because I kind of went from trying to be tops in Siege to now I'm just kind of like I'm using it as a I'll experiment and throw it out there. So but yeah, it's a good strategy. Bring Yara, bring some of these big toons. I could just bop on a Siege team and then pick up 18. Safe 18s over risky 20s.
I will say the RB4 philosophy does make a lot of sense.
Well,
I like going RB5. Like for me, like if you go look at my rebirths, like I don't have a ton of meta rebirths. I'm more like looking at rebirth 5ing like characters that I enjoy, or characters that like just mean something to me comic wise that don't have to be good in the game. But it's like I did today announce that like I am changing up my rebirth strategy. Like
I saw this.
You went into chat and you're like, guys, I have an announcement to make. And we're like, what is happening right now?
I thought what was funny was he said, I'm opening up my Bat family to Wonder Woman, because I guess he's all done with the Bat family, and then someone just quickly throws up a picture of his Catwoman that's L5. Like, come on, Costly.
No, you misread that. I've always had Wonder Woman and Bat family were my rebirths. Because if you go look, I've had like 3.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, he's got the RB5 POT that nobody in the world would touch with a 10-foot pole. So,
and Coda and Cheetah, and so
but I was gonna say
what I decided to do was broaden it more to like all the the characters that are good for my account. I'm gonna go after right now, which would be like your Dark Sides, your Superwomans, your
hyper meta,
Spectre,
yeah,
all the stuff that I want to do better in TLL. We'll put it that way.
Well, I mean, Spectre is not gonna.
I know, but my Spectre's RB3. I might as well finish it.
Yeah, but I like hearing that. I like hearing you're gonna play for TL. Now we brought it up. We talked about it. Siege, the Siegening is happening right now. Coin the new word.
Really?
We don't know why.
So I mean, what are you thinking of the Siege right now, Burger? Like how is it treating you?
It's so I think I've only lost twice. I've had several times where I've lost a toon or two. Vincent wrecked me one time, but apparently he lost to me that same day. So
there you go.
Josh lost to Vincent 3 times to see
2 times. Me and Burger the same. He said he lost twice. I lost twice, and I'm sure he was talking about today and not lifetime. So.
But so it's fun. Like I like these this Siege reminds me a lot of the Dark Side Siege, where it was like it's never a meta team. Like you're never looking at it saying, hey, it's the same team that people are running out there. Like it's constantly changing. Now the one toon that I've used in every match has been Grundy. The ability to hit underneath shields, like the I don't want to call it glitch, but where he's hitting underneath shield wanted, and hitting underneath awareness, bonus add-on. Yeah. So I've used him like crazy, and it didn't hurt that I already had him RB4. But it's fun. Like every match you have to approach it a little bit differently. The main team I've been using though probably is Dark Side, Auburn, John Stewart, and Grundy. and so 3 bonus tunes. But there's a lot of times though, like where you start looking, there's a lot of specters running around,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
a lot in the
Parallax
siege,
does
and
that. Yeah.
usually, yeah, usually you never see them like this late in siege. Like if you're in the top 10, like you might see like one aboard, but I'm getting like 4, 5, 6 aboard, and so in that case, I'm you have to kind of run Dr. Poison, but even at RB4, it seems like I don't know if it's been a nerf, but she's not hitting as hard as she used to. So then I'm having to bring Talon or somebody to set her up, and to make sure that she can take out an RB5 Spectre and Dark Side and or whoever else is on there. So it's fun. Like again, it just kind of keeps you on your toes. And so the last time I would say I had this much fun in a siege was the Dark Side one, which that one I think I finished 10th or 11th in that one too.
Yeah.
So that looks like where I'll end up this time.
I actually hate the siege these matches go too long sometimes, and I'm not a fan of that. Just a quick throw this out there because some people may not know, but you brought it up. There was a little bit of worry about Dr. Poison. Is she, she seems like the tune to bring in. There's a lot of heavy blues in this one. We are seeing the Spectres, we are seeing the Dark Sides, we're seeing the Grundys, the Johns. So Dr. Poison seems like the perfect fit to it. And what we have noticed is, she's not killing people like she used to. And I got on the case. I went to we haven't thought of a name for it yet, but there's a lab. We thought of a place, and I said, I'm going to figure out this Dr. Poison thing, see what's going on. And I think we cracked the case, and we know exactly what's going on with Dr. Poison right now. And if you haven't watched the stream, and if you're listening out there, you don't watch it, I'm going to tell you now, it's Alan Scott. Surprisingly, Alan Scott is the reason why Dr. Poison is not as effective, because Dr. Poison is very slow. And even to try to get her to go quickly, it still takes 2 or 3 turns, like a Cheetah to do a scratch and then Batman to dish it to Poison. And right there, that's 3 turns. And Alan has that ability where at the beginning of each enemy's turn, he will gain how much shield is it? 60% chance to gain 25% shield. So if you're not looking or paying attention to the shielding going on, by the time it's Dr. Poison's turn, he could have given him 50% shield, 75% shield. So that's basically, giving them 50% more HP, 75% more HP. So when you do drop that nuke, it's still hitting as hard as ever. It's just being gobbled up by all the shield that Alan Scott has given everyone. And so that was the aha moment when we figured it out. It's Alan Scott's shielding that happens passively before the turns is gobbling up all of Dr. Poison's damage. So if you're going to bring Dr. Poison, check to see if there's an Alan on that side. And if there is, maybe not bring her. And if there isn't, Dr. Poison will nuke with the best of them still. So it was just, that's a little tidbit there.
We did actually ask too. We asked Reeves, was there any sort of nerf, anything like that? And she said not to her knowledge. And my experience, and I think that most people would agree, is that it doesn't look like they're doing any fixes or making any changes that like they don't have to do, or that like, so it's like it would be very, very unusual for them to go in and just like stealth kind of nerf a character when they won't even fix, like, we brought up 3 major bugs that are happening with the siege tunes this month, and it's like, why would they start doing something to Dr. Poison when they've got these much bigger important issues to do? It didn't really make sense to me. So I do think it's the shield. I think bleeds interact a little bit differently with shields than they do on the regular health bar, which was something that M4 and I noticed when we were initially testing Dr. Poison in her rework in October. So I think in general, that's what we're seeing. I don't think it's any sort of change they made to the character. And I think next month, if there's not heavy shields in Siege like we're seeing this month, I think it'll go back to Poison being, as good as ever.
So I know you said there's not shielding. What was that character you said is not doing shielding next month?
Yeah. It's...
I hate this Siege. I hate the siege so much.
Why do you hate it,
I
Kase?
fell into the abyss.
Oh yeah,
And so I am in like place like 320 or something, and I can't climb out because all I'm fighting is like the most meta dick teams you can find. And I just can't get out of it. And it's like I'm trying to use bonus, and it's like I don't know what's happening because it's like I'll try to use bonus and I'll end up losing. So like I'll stop using bonus for like a day, and I'll use like a little bit of bonus as I can, but I'll use like whatever team I need to get past these teams. And I'm just like I feel like I'm like crawling through sludge trying to get out of just like the abyss. Is what honestly what it feels like. So
I think you should
I
call it
just
the
went ahead.
trench. Just
I,
it would be
I
in a
think
more
that's why I
appropriate.
just went ahead and bought up L2 John, because I was like, I forfeit the siege. I'm just gonna. I just went
Yeah.
ahead and bought the shards because I was like, no, this isn't going well. And then even when I do fight like bonus tunes, I'm so tired of shields. I'm so
Oh god, the shielding is Alan's shielding is so freaking annoying. It's
It is
awful. It's
oppressive.
just
It's crazy.
I had a match today that wound up coming down to I had just Parallax and Alan left, or not Alan, sorry, Parallax and Abin left versus
Yep.
a Wally West that
Oh.
progressively just got faster and faster and faster the more he hit my Parallax.
Yeah.
And then like I had like it like there was like this little bit left where it's like I needed this window of being able to like keep the awarenesses off of Wally. So I had to keep enraging him by him hitting Parallax so that he didn't get awarenesses so that Abin could kill him when it came around to Abin's turn. And that window closed just before it came around to Abin's turn. And Wally twice in a row on his, because he would take like 17 turns before like anybody would get a turn. And like twice in a row he didn't get enraged, and then he gained like 2 awarenesses right before Abin's turn.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I backed out.
There's been a lot of stalemates in this one, which is just again one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of this siege. I hate long matches, and I hate stalemates when they come up.
I will, real quick too.
Yeah.
So Burger. Now, I think you said that this siege you think you've only lost like twice or so. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what's crazy is you're in 8th, having only lost about twice. Sheriff Lobo, the kind of original king of Siege, is 400 trophies ahead of you, basically. Like he has just this insane lead this month. We all thought for a while that it looked like DaBoy was going to run away with it, and then he choked real bad, and that's why he's not even here on this stream tonight.
Didn't want to show his face?
He was embarrassed. We were embarrassed for him. It was awful. It was just an awkward situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am excited. I'm happy to see. I'm not going to say anything about the names that we normally see. I'm just happy to see a different name at the top of Siege than we usually have. So shout out to Lobo, though. He is playing out of his mind this month, and it's awesome. M4 is up there as usual. DaBoy is up there as usual, and it's like those top 4 almost is kind of right after, and then there's a big drop from kind of where you see it after that. But Lobo is just killing it this month, and it's nice to see kind of like a return to form. So yeah, I think I'm not a fan of this particular siege in terms of like the match play style, like Josh has mentioned. I don't like the a million buffs on Parallax situation, but I am happy just to see a little bit of
shake up,
freshness at the top, basically. So
yeah.
Oh wait, Burger's muted.
Sheriff's team though, he's got that high RB. Oh, yeah, he's got that high RB booster. Like his roster was kind of like DaBoy's, where it was built for this siege.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely he kind of came into it pretty well set off. But I mean he always kicks ass. I think he has the most siege wins, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Out of everybody.
Is he tied with M4 now?
This is what is he doing this because
I think he's tied with M4, and now he'll break the tie this month because M4 was really excited about tying him. I think it was 6, and now this will push Lobo to 7. Barring some sort of absolute collapse in this final week. I mean, I think
some
it would literally
DaBoy-esque collapses. I think.
A DaBoy style collapse. he would just have to stop playing, I think, for like the final week
Yeah.
to really have it. So
Well,
yeah,
it was scary facing DaBoy's team at first. Like I
Oh,
was
yeah.
going through Red Alert, refreshing those like crazy, just trying different. And I got lucky. I kept getting him on every Red Alerts refresh. But as you get up there, like you're looking at 1,600, 2,000 gems just to find him. But I was like so paranoid about facing his L1 John Stewart that I was like, I gotta get this done. But yeah, no, the boys team was badass, and I think like he and Sheriff Lobo both were able to kind of run through the bots,
right.
the high RB teams, and not really worry.
I was DaBoy was at the start of the siege. He was showing me his matches. He was streaming them to me so I can watch. Talked about a couple of them, but it was just always so like I felt ridiculous watching him throw 20s, full 20s against these big teams that people are throwing out, and he's just able to 20 them because his tunes are so strong, and the reworks are so good that he's able to stomp through these matches where I wouldn't even dare bring those tunes in, and I think that's what Lobo's doing now. That what DaBoy was doing in the beginning. It's just he's going 20s as often as he can. You figure out the secret to that team, and then you can just start knocking the 20s out. It's very impressive, very very impressive.
I think it's kind of crazy if you look at it. Ultimately, like when this month was first announced, I think most people were like, "What? Why? Like, why these characters? Why all this?" And it's like, now that the month is like, it's not over yet, but like we're a good ways through it. It's like the reworks were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Both of the new tunes are good, if not great.
Solid month. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just a good month in general. Like it's like,
and it did change I think the feeling about the month in the community too, which just goes to show that like it's not always just about who the characters are. Like I think there are some months where people are really down on it. This month was, I think, most emblematic of that than I can remember. It was like, here's John Stewart, could have at most been a skin. Here's Aben Sur, who most people didn't think deserved to be in the game at all. And everybody was like, this month is horrible, I'm taking it off. And then just because the two reworks and the new characters are kind of high B, low A, whatever you want to think of them, it saved the whole month. And the community got really excited. And between that, Tapjoy coming back, the 4 concurrent PvPs that we had this weekend, which was like an accident or something. Yeah. I mean, I think it wound up being a month that really at least restored a little bit of faith in the community that I think was like feeling it a little stretched thin in recent months. So it was good. It was a good month.
So Siege, that's all we can really talk about Siege. Now, I'm looking at the itinerary here, and there's a section called Relevant Media. I don't know. What is the relevant media going on?
I mean,
we're going to talk about like what Britney Spears and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Kardashians are out now.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard there's some relevant media in the DCL space. There's a tournament of warriors or something. Tournament of legends.
Yeah.
There we go.
Is that media? I don't know if that's media.
It's everything. The Tournament of Legends is going on right now. We talked about it a little bit earlier at the top. And this one has been shaping up to be such an exciting tournament. And I think there's been extra buzz around this one. I think there's been a little bit more eyeballs on it. I don't know, but it's starting to get real spicy, and I think we're heading into the semifinals right now. I think this week we're going to be seeing the semis kick off, and then after the semis, it'll be kind of like a week off of live matches and whatnot that head into the finals. I guess it's like the Super Bowl week right before the Super Bowl, and we usually do the live show the Monday after, so not next Monday, but the Monday after.
I think May 2nd is when we're looking at it for
the live one. So, Burger, do you know who's left in the tournament right now?
I know M4.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
We got M4, the 2-time back-to-back champion. He's going against Almost Death, the pride of the 1500. He's been to the semis before, but has never cracked that and made it all the way in. But he is the number 1 seed right now, and he's playing like it. M4 did just go the only 80-0 in this tournament which was impressive, but I still think he got the easiest boards I've ever seen. The easiest boards I've ever seen someone get. And then we also have Merciless from the 1500. And then we have, you may know him as Amazing or Wasar, and he's from the Bat Family Army, I believe. That's where he's from. So those two have a big match ahead of them to just get to the finals. And I feel bad for either of them, like, because, I mean, if you make it to the finals, you're either going to have M4 sitting there or almost waiting there. So this is going to be a super, super exciting tournament final. And if you haven't done so yet, or you've been thinking about joining or wanting to talk about it, I'm sure maybe we can get the Discord linked somewhere around here. I don't know. But in there we have a channel, an extra channel that has all of the links to all the streams that people have done. So if you want to go back and watch their matches, watch all these different comps and the way they play against these big teams, it's all there, like in a little library to go back and watch all the matches. But it's been just super exciting. So Burger, who do you have to win? I think I know who, but who's your pick to win?
Great choice. You got the greatest of all time going on.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be a three-peat. And I mean, like, yeah. So I think he's going to wreck shop. You know, I was going to say, so I know you mentioned Super Bowl and all this. Are the Owls able to sponsor some ads for this thing?
We're always open to sponsors to get it out there. So you're just gonna put big owl banners all over.
Some
eyes on there. Have bowls there. All mask on there.
Join the Owls will just be plastered across the screen.
I'm excited for this, for what's coming up with TOL, because it's like, even looking at it, it's like, we could have. I mean, it'd be cool, like, to see 1500 versus 1500, or Owls versus 1500 in finals, or it could be Owls versus like Waysar, or
yeah, it's the Owls are down to the lone owl, and I mean, probably the best owl, the best strategic owl out there is M4, and you got 1500 has 2 members left, and the BFA has 1. But Zubaz, who are you kind of, maybe not predict the winner, but who are you excited to watch go all the way?
I'll say this. I mean, I've watched kind of all of the streams from the quarterfinal round and everything. I hope Merciless does really well. Yeah. I love the way he plays. I think he's really smart. I am concerned that at some point just that rosters will catch up with him, because it's like, M4 subs out 5, and it's like, oh, okay, I can't use my RB5 booster. Let me throw in RB5 Shiva instead. And it's like he still can just kind of do that. Whereas at some point, Merciless is going to drop from like his RB4 Harley to like Eclipso at like L4 or something, and there's a big drop there at some point. That definitely makes me nervous for him. But I love that he's there. He's doing so awesome. Almost, I know, he's one of the players that has really started to gear his roster for the TOL. We saw him today, and Merciless did this too, but we saw them on stream rebirth characters because they were unsure if they would survive a particular matchup. And they were just like, I don't want to leave any doubt to this. Let's add an extra 10% and maybe that'll get me through it. And it worked out for them. So I'm excited to see them. Prediction wise, I will never ever bet against M4. Yeah, you just can't. I mean, it's bad financial advice to bet against M4 especially when he's motivated. And I think there's a number of things that motivated him this time around.
200 of them.
The 200 reasons was one very big thing that motivated him. I think he also had a small chip on his shoulder from 3 months of trash talk from the most recent champion of the TOL. That probably motivated him a little bit more too. So I think he wants to win this one and then probably retire after and just say, I'm the greatest of all time. None of you will ever touch me. And then we'll see from there. But I would never bet against him. But you know what? watching him play is a tutorial on how to play the game. So I will never tire of watching M4 having to play 20 or 30 matches in a row, because you're just like, this is literally a playbook for how to win this game.
And you've never seen someone get so scared. You've never seen someone get so scared when the other team just takes a turn. Like,
yeah.
The team will take down 25% of M4's shield, and M4 goes, oh no, this isn't, this is breaking down. It's just, oh man. So I'm crazy excited for the rest of the Tournament Legends. It's gonna be super
definitely, I'm thinking M4 as well. Not just because like he's my friend or anything, but it's just because like, again, like what Zubaz said, like you don't bet against him for like.
He's not my friend. I hate him, but you know. It was good that we had other owls this time around. Hatemael made it to the quarterfinals. That was big, and I think once we've always had M4, but now that we could start to make inroads in here, maybe we get to see a couple more owls. I know Feldmast has usually played.
Hawkeye.
So Hawkeye, obviously. Yep. So maybe we'll get a few more going forward.
Yeah, I'm just hoping to get as many different alliances represented in the TOL as I think it would be fun to see a lot. An alliance to root on. Their alliance mate.
Did you start scoring alliances based off of like how far their players got, or how many?
I've been ranking the alliances for quite some time now, and 1500 is well above them all. So I mean, it's.
Raid usually settled that.
No, raids are no one cares about raids. I don't even know who wins that.
I want to go back. So you said people have rebirth crystals that they can just use randomly.
Yeah, apparently that's like a thing. I did not know that people did that either. Yeah.
I thought those were meant to be used as soon as you hit 10.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
I know for me.
I saved up 50 and dropped 50 at once tonight. I saved up and I was like, we're going to do this. And then boom, I held on to them. So
I know I switched gears to like, I'm trying to save as many rebirth crystals as I can for each TOL. So hopefully next time I can do better. But I don't know.
So running over some of the actual, or
is there really relevant media? I mean, I don't know.
Batman came out on HBO Max today. If you guys haven't seen that, definitely go watch it.
Oh yeah.
It's on HBO Max.
Wait, Cosley, have you watched it today? We know you've seen it 3 times now.
Have you watched it again? Cosley, have you watched Batman again?
Are you at 4? Tell us if you're at 4.
No, but I will be tonight. Have you seen the movie Burger?
I've not.
Oh, okay. I highly recommend seeing it.
It's good. It's good.
What was that?
I just break your heart.
What's that?
Save it for raids when you have like 4 hours to do nothing. Yeah. Like, oh god.
I didn't hear what Burger said. What?
Oh, I didn't know if I broke your heart because I haven't watched it yet.
No, you're good. But like, I mean, Flashpoint Beyond Zero came out on the comic side last week, and then we're coming up on the death of the Justice League and all that stuff coming up. Like, DC's kind of in a good place, I think, comic wise. And then as well as the Flash just did Deathstorm. Did you guys see that?
I haven't
heard about it. Haven't seen it. Heard about it though.
I haven't watched that show in forever because I think it's bad. But
they did Deathstorm. Really cool.
Yeah, I guess they're doing Blackest Night.
Are they?
I don't think they're doing Blackest Night. I think they're just doing Deathstorm.
Interesting. Is it the same? Is it the same actor that was Firestorm in the beginning?
Yeah, Robbie Amell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Like that was a pretty cool thing. He looks pretty cool. Look that up on YouTube if you're interested. But beyond that, like you
know what? I have some. We talked about rapid fire questions when I was trying to trip up Zubaz. Like, spill the beans. But Burger, I got some rapid fire questions for you. Real quick, there's like 5 of them. Real fast. So I'm going to ask you a question. Just first, boom. It's all DC related. Just the first one that comes to your head. Just say it. You ready?
Let's go.
All right. Batman or Superman?
Superman.
Would you rather have super strength or super speed?
Strength.
Would you rather fly like Superman or swim like Aquaman?
Why?
Be a Green Lantern or be an Atlantean?
Green Lantern.
Have an invisible jet or a Batmobile?
Invisible jet.
Oh, those are good ones. There it is. The lightning round. Oh man.
Nice.
And
Alright.
Josh just made a staple of guest videos going forward. Like we
There
have
it
to do
is.
that now. We have to do that on everything.
I gotta think of new
Speaking of
questions.
which, some of you may have noticed. I mean, we've had guests before, but we're going to try and do this a little more frequently. We've been trying to get to 2 episodes a month, so we kind of came up with this as a way to do 2 episodes a month. Basically, have our first of the month episode where it's like we're talking about raids and all that stuff and like the first impressions, and then we're thinking for the second episode of the month, as long as we won't always be able to get a guest on, but as long as we can get a guest on, have a guest on for the second episode and do kind of like we did today, are the new tunes as good as we think? Preferably get the video out. Like, hopefully this will be out Wednesday morning, so Jon Stewart's sale will still be going on by the time people can listen to this. So that's like, that's kind of my goal with what we're doing here, is at least get the second episode of the month out before the Siege Tunes sale is over. That way we can talk about, are they worth getting? So, and as far as even that question, you guys feel Jon Stewart, is he worth buying a pack of if you're looking to get some?
Yeah,
like if you have the gems.
If you have the
for it?
gems, I think it's worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you have the gems, it's worth it.
And if you want to be a guest, let us know. Talk to our agents, or just DM us. Hop in the Discord. Let us know. We're using this as kind of a way to get to know people in the community that we spoke so highly of earlier. So it's like a great way to get a peek behind the names. We're gonna try and get famous people, comic artists, actors, actresses, that sort of thing. We're reaching out. And then we've reached out to DC. We're trying to get Batman. Sinestro was on the list. There's a couple big names that we think we might be able to score interviews with too.
Yeah.
So, but if you do have any ideas for somebody you want to hear from, or you yourself would like to be interviewed, just let us know, and we'll see what we can work out.
Yeah. And I think that's going to wrap us up for today. Again, big thank you for Burger for coming on here and hanging out with us, talking with us. I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, pleasure's all mine. Thanks a lot.
All right, guys, that's it for us. Last words? No, good to go.
We're good.
All right.
Here's
Bye,
the boys'
everybody.
outro.
Here's the boys' outro. Bye.
Thank you for watching the Crime Alley Cast. Hit the like button and tell us what you thought of this episode in the comments below. And click the bell to never miss a future episode. If you want to catch us on the go, check out the audio version of the podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and Podbean. Each of the hosts are also available live streaming DCL and other games throughout the week, and be sure to drop by and say hello. Links will be in the description below, and I'll see you next time.